Hello you guys, it's me Jakiri and I'm back with another video. So today is a more serious topic. Obviously, I'm also in uniform, so it's going to be a military related video. But first things first, I just want to send my condolences to the family of George Floyd and all of the other families affected by police brutality. All of the families affected by losing their loved ones due to senseless gun violence and all of those things. I just want to give a moment to them so that we can pay our respects. Okay, so as it relates to political activities, speaking out against political events and things like that, we are also governed by the UCMJ. And so the first thing that I'm going to be reading for you guys is Article 88 in the UCMJ, labeled as contempt toward public officials. And it states, any commissioned officer who uses contemptuous words against the President, the Vice President, Congress, the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of Military Department, the Secretary of Transportation, or the Governor or legislation of any state, territory, commonwealth, or possession in which he is on duty or present shall be punished as a court-martial may direct. So this specific article in the UCMJ is speaking directly towards commissioned officers who may speak out maybe on social media or in public or in a public setting, a crowded setting, something of the sort, against any of those people named. Now, also, we are governed by the same article. However, the degree may not be as severe. If it's an officer that is speaking out against the president or anybody listed prior, they are automatically going to be court-martialed. For non-commissioned officers, junior enlisted, whatever the case may be, senior NCOs, it may be like an Article 15 or a discharge of some sort, but I'm not quite sure. I couldn't actually find if it would be a court martial or not. So if you guys can find that information for me, please leave it in the comment box. We are having an open discussion here. We are educating ourselves. We are educating each other. So please educate me on the things that I did not share here and the things that I do not know. I'm welcome to it. I'm open to it. So yeah. So moving on. Dang, I almost knocked my whole little setup down. What I'm going to be reading next is an article from thedailybeast.com, and it is titled "Head of Air Force Academy Racist Need to Get Out." It said it was published September 29, 2017. And it says, after racial slurs were found on message boards at the Air Force Academy's preparatory school in Colorado, Lieutenant General Jay Severi gathered all 4,000 cadets Thursday and told anyone in attendance that is responsible for it to get out. Investigators have been interviewing cadet candidates at the school to determine the identity of the vandal or vandals who targeted the rooms of 5 black students by writing "Go home" outside their doors. If you can't treat someone with this dignity and respect, then get out, Severi said. The Colorado Springs Gazette reported that sources at the academy believe one vandal was involved since the handwriting on all the messages appeared the same. So to me, when reading this, and I also have watched the video multiple times, what it says to me is that it's coming from the top down, that we're not accepting that. We have a zero tolerance for it. So that's just my opinion, but I'll also read you the facts. So in the military, we're also governed by AFIs or regulations. I know for other branches it's not Air Force instructions, is whatever your branch is. But specifically for the Air Force, I'm going to be reading from AFI 36-2706, and it says for military personnel, this instruction establishes requirements for unlawful discrimination complaints based on race, color, religion, national origin, or sex, including sexual harassment, unit climate assessments, human relation educations, use of alternative dispute resolution procedures, equal opportunity and treatment incidents, dissident and protest activities, affirmative action planning and assessment, accommodation of religious practices, and appeals for procedures. It also says who this applies to. So, it prohibits unlawful discrimination and harassment and appraisal. It establishes the requirements for the Air Force Military Equal Opportunity Program and the Civilian Equal Opportunity Program, EEO. This publication applies to all military and civilian Air Force personnel, including Air Force Reserve Command units. This publication applies to Air National Guard personnel in federal active duty status under Title 10 U.S. Code. So, I think that pretty much like sums it up. We're not accepting racism. We're not accepting discrimination. We're not accepting, biases based off of gender, color, sexual orientation, religious preference. We're not accepting that. So I think that was a big statement. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the letter that Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Chief Master Sergeant Wright, wrote for us, but I think that spoke volumes on just how passionate we should be about it as service members. And I think it's also very important that we educate ourselves so we know that we do have a voice. We still have freedom of speech. We just must be careful about the things that we do say. So moving on, I'm going to read the next article that I found. It is on thebalancedcareers.com. It is titled Political Activity Regulations for Military Members. It was updated January 10th of 2019. So this is relatively new. It says the Department of Defense has strict rules about how members of the U.S. military can participate in politics. So they said participate in politics. It didn't say you cannot participate in politics. There are just certain ways that you should handle yourself when you do. Moving on, it says the Department of Defense defines partisan political activities as activities supporting or relating to candidates, representing or issues specifically identified with national or state political parties. National or state political parties and associated or ancillary organizations. So, a nonpartisan political activity is defined as activity supporting or relating to candidates not representing or issues not specifically identified with national or state political parties and associated or ancillary organizations. Issues relating to constitutional amendments, referendums, approval of municipal ordinances, and other of, I think they made a typo. And others of similar character are not considered as specifically identified with the national or state political parties. So, I think we need to talk about it. I think we need to educate ourselves. I think we need to be able to understand where the fine line is, and it's written in black and white. It's not based off of how you define things or how you may view things. It's not. And that's how we end up being in situations where we are being reprimanded, we are being retaliated against based off of someone else's, maybe a higher up's personal beliefs or something of the sort. But if you educate yourself and you know what right and wrong is, you know how to differentiate between what the regulation is actually saying and what can be used as a gray area, then you'll be fine. I think we can skip over the voting because there are so many different things. But if you have not voted already, vote. Period. There are no excuses, especially for military members. They make so many exceptions. We have so many exemptions. We are able to cast absentee ballots. We don't have to follow the registration deadlines. Like, they make sure that we still have the right and the ability to vote. So do that. That's all I'm going to say about that. So I'm going to move down. It says permissible political activity by military members. While active military members can and should register to vote and cast votes and may express a personal opinion or political candidates and issues, they cannot express opinions on behalf or as a representative of the United States military. So this is where we need to really get it in our heads. If you say, I believe that Black Lives Matter, I believe in this movement, I believe in, whatever the case is, you cannot say that those are the ideas of the United States military. You cannot say, I am Jakiri Nichelle Smith and I represent the United States military and I believe da 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 da. No. You can say that as an individual, as yourself, but do not put the United States military in the middle of that, whatever branch you serve in. That is the fine line. That is where it gets, to levels of reprimand, to levels of disciplinary action. So that's what we need to understand here. It says military members also may promote and encourage other military members to vote as long as they are not attempting to interfere with or affect the outcome of the election. It says, moving on, petitions and endorsements by members of the military. Active duty military members can sign a petition for specific legislative actions or a petition to place a candidate's name on the official election ballot if the signing does not obligate the member to engage in partisan political activity, which we just talked about. Moving down, it says political events and statements. Political bumper stickers on a military member's personal vehicle are authorized, but large banners and signs are not. Such banners and posters are not allowed to be displayed at the military member's residence either. Okay? Are you hearing correctly? It says military members can attend rallies or fundraising activities as long as they are not in uniform and are not creating the appearance of any military sponsorship or approval, but they can speak before a partisan political gathering, including any gathering that promotes the partisan political activity, candidate, or cause. Participate in any radio, television, or other program or group discussion as an advocate for or against partisan political activity, candidate, or cause, or conduct a political opinion survey under the auspices, Jesus Christ, what? Of a partisan political club or group, or distribute partisan political literature. They are also barred from marching or riding in political or partisan parades and can't engage in political fundraising activities while on federal property. It says in addition, they cannot participate in any organized effort to drive voters to the polls. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. So I think that was very specific about what you can and cannot do as it relates to politics. Did anybody say that you cannot share your experiences? No. Did anybody say that you cannot stand up for what you believe in? No. It said, do not speak ill about the president, anybody under him, any higher up in leadership, in the federal, and state legislations, all of that. That is what they said. No tolerism for racism. We're not having it. So I think we need to educate ourselves from the inside out, from the lowest levels to the highest. I think we need to keep having uncomfortable conversations. I think we need to keep talking about it. We don't need to just brush this under the rug and pretend that it's an issue that is not ours, because it is ours. just like it's everybody else's. These are people that may be coming into the military. People that are already in the military have been severely affected by this. Some of us have lost family members. Some of us have lost friends. Some of us have lost, spouses and husbands and cousins, and like, we have lost people due to gun violence. We have lost people due to police brutality. We have been, racially profiled. We have been discriminated against. We have been stereotyped. So it's time to talk about it. It's time to educate ourselves. It's time to educate each other. And it's time for us to make a real change, make a difference, be the change that you want to see. So that's why I decided to do this video. That's why I decided to put my uniform on off duty while I'm off work and make this video, because it's very important to me. I'm raising a black boy who's 1 year old. I'm raising him, and eventually I'm gonna have to explain to him why he can't walk with his hands in his pockets, and why he can't wear a hoodie outside when it's cold, or why he can't have a bag of Skittles. I have to explain those things to him, because we have lost men who have done absolutely nothing wrong and have been killed at the hands of police. And that's what we need to talk about. That's what we need to be real about. We need to be real about how people view us as black people, because once I take this uniform off, I'm still a black woman. My husband is still a black man. So we need to talk about it. We need to continue to have these uncomfortable conversations, and it needs to be support from the top down. It needs to be support from everybody. Everybody, we're a team, right? This whole world is a team. But just know that I do support my people. I stand behind my people 1,010%. I wish that I could be on the front lines and do as much as I possibly can. But as we know, I am deployed right now, so I have to do what I can from afar. But I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna speak. I'm still gonna, speak up. I'm still gonna say exactly how I feel, and if I can, I'm going to educate myself, and I'm going to educate other people around me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Please comment. Please let me know if I missed anything. If you find any other codes, any other articles or whatever, make sure you leave them in the description box, in the comments, so that we can all educate each other and educate ourselves. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you guys watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.